Right. And okay, so a little bit about me first. I have been married for 12 years to my beautiful wife, Kirsten, and it's slowly coming up. And my lovely daughter, Nia, who, like I said earlier, is about to turn 5 this Friday. And I got into bodybuilding a few years ago. My wife actually she started the process before I ever did. And she was having a great pregnancy in 2015, and our daughter ended up coming to us 6.5 weeks early. So through that process of her being in the NICU for a month, it was a very challenging time for me, and I found myself kind of getting lost with my goals, my direction, my vision, because it was such a stressful time. And anybody who has young children, or at least has been around them, probably knows there's a definite lack of sleep, especially within those first several months. So it was a challenging time for my wife and I, for sure. And for me, I kind of crawled into a hole. And one of the ways I came back out was I said I need to do something with my life, something different instead of waiting for something to happen. I did this bodybuilding show in 2018. It was my second show, and I won my category, won the overall. And I took what I learned from that, and I said, oh my gosh, what worked for me so well was my commitment and consistency to myself, and using the support around me, not just my coach who's there in the picture, but my family, my friends, enrolling people to help me with food prep, with my calendar. And in other words, one of the key components to setting an effective goal and getting your goal is absolutely support and accountability. I'll get to that a little bit more later. However, that's something I took and I said, you know what? Why don't I go into coaching full time instead of waiting for something to look perfect? How about I just get started? That's one of the other pieces, is just take action immediately. Take immediate action towards your goal, and you can begin to create momentum. So I've been coaching for about 7 years. I got my initial start with health coaching. I was a personal trainer for a long time, and I've jumped into mindset coaching full time at the end of 2018, and then added in some components of strategy building for businesses, business coaching this year. So it's been a fun ride. And I wanted to talk a little bit about leadership today as well. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. John Maxwell is one of my favorite teachers in this. If you guys want to look up anybody, if you're fans of reading, learning, personal, professional development, John Maxwell is one of my favorites as it relates to leadership. So we look at how do we influence not just people, how do we influence ourselves moving forward? And this is key because when we're setting a goal, we first must know what it is and how I want to influence myself. It's not just about this external thing. So, Sebastian, you probably have seen people come in and say, hey, my goal is to come in and lose 10 pounds. So it's not just about the weight loss, though, for people I've learned. It's what's your real why behind it? Okay, why do you need to lose 10 pounds? Why do you want to lose 30 pounds? What's really behind it, or the why behind it, excuse me, is really and truly your goal. The losing 10 pounds might be the way we measure it. So, in other words, it's what gets you excited, what motivates you, what gets you going, what keeps you coming back into the gym, what motivates you to move forward with your business. And I know we set these goals as numbers. Okay, my goal is to make an extra $5,000 in January of 2021, let's say, in my business. What's behind me making that extra $5,000? That's the goal. The $5,000 becomes the measurable. So I want you to think about right now, who influences you currently? Who is leading you? And maybe that's a case of you're letting somebody else lead you against your will, or against what you think you're supposed to do in leading yourself. If we don't know our goals, we don't know our vision, we don't know our values, chances are you're going to take on somebody else's. And I see that all the time in business. So if we don't have a clear vision, we don't have a clear path or know how to lead ourselves, then we're ultimately going to take on or let somebody else do that for us. I see that one a lot in corporate America, especially. So I think about what is working for you, because it's not just about what's not working. Anybody been in sales here and had a sales manager, once upon a time? I don't know if you guys had the same experience I did with, if you didn't hit a goal, the first thing out of their mouth would be, do you know what you did wrong? So I used to get that one all the time. Instead of, hey, what's working for you? What got you close to that goal? Hey, what if you did more of that? What else could you do that could work for you? So time after time, we tend to focus more on the challenges or the barrier in front of us when we're up against a challenge, and we don't focus on the solution. So if the only thing we focus on is the challenge, that's the only thing that we're going to get. We're only going to focus on the challenge, we're going to get challenges. If we focus on solutions, we're going to find and look for solutions to that challenge. Does that make sense? It's sort of like if I'm up against my wall in front of me here, and that's all I'm staring at, and the closer I get to it, I'm not likely to see the door that's right here to my right until I take a step back and go, oh, there's a solution. That's how I get around this obstacle. So what is the disconnect? What's the reason I struggle to get my goals, to get my goals? What am I not connecting with? Climbing the mountain we see in front of us is often a 10. This relates to if you ever set a goal and you say, if I asked you a subjective reasoning, say, hey, how is your success with your business right now? And you say, well, on a 1 to 10 scale, I'm a 7. And oftentimes what we'll do is we'll say, hey, I won't allow myself to ever have a 10 because there's no such thing. There's never going to be enough to get me to that 10. The problem is when we don't see that, we're not connecting with leading ourselves. We're not connecting with how we can create solutions to get to that number 10 so that we can have that level of success for our goals and for our lives. And when we get to what we forget is, if I look at, let's say, Pikes Peak, and I'm at the bottom of Colorado Springs and I look up at Pikes Peak, that's all I see. That's the biggest mountain I see in front of me. So if I climb to the top of Pikes Peak, and let's say that's a 10, there are other peaks that are higher than that in Colorado. There also are higher peaks in the world that are higher than that. So what's your next 10? So coming from this space allows us to expand and grow. So it's not, a lot of us don't allow ourselves to finish goals or get to goals because we want to allow ourselves to get there in the first place, because there's something that gets in the way. I don't have enough time. There's too many challenges. It's too hard. I have to do everything myself. All of these kinds of things keep us from finishing our goals. So what I'm suggesting is, what if we give ourselves a little bit of grace and allow ourselves to get to that 10 by utilizing our support, utilizing solutions, and create a next 10. So that way we can have a win and have a victory and continue to move forward. And I know I don't have a whole lot of time, but I'd like to hear a couple examples. Do any of you guys have a vision or have a fairly decent idea of what your vision is? Or you started to have a good idea of what your vision might be?
Yeah, Jonathan, I'm happy to share. I started my business, 303 Insurance Brokers, back in June, and in 5 years, I want to build an exitable business strategy. So I want my insurance company to still operate. I want to scale it to the size where I don't necessarily have to participate in the day-to-day activities for it to continue to succeed, and then I can go on to whatever my next challenge is, kind of that entrepreneurial mindset with it. And with that is I don't focus a lot on my I focus some on my exiting or my lagging indicators. How much did I make last month? What premium I have on the books, but I focus more on building my goals around my leading indicators. How many coffees did I have? Am I meeting with the right people? Am I getting leads into my system?
Mm-hmm.
And that's really how I've been trying to focus on it, because it's like, oh, I missed last month's goal. It's hard to then say, well, I'm going to hit this month's goal. Well, what are you going to do different? And so another group I work with, we talk a lot about leading indicators of success and results.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Thank you for that, Jason. It's it's important to have that. It's sort of like beginning, we call it beginning with the end in mind, or beginning with the intention in mind. And so what happens is most of us get caught up into the mechanism. In other words, if I go back to working out, how many of us go, well, I've done this diet, I've done the keto diet, I've done the paleo diet, I've done the Atkins diet, I've done the carb cycling diet, and we focus on some external force or external thing to fix us or get us there, when in reality, we're the only ones that can make the change. Or and in other words, if our intention is clear enough, it doesn't necessarily matter what the mechanism is. We find the best tool suited for the job at hand. And there are an endless supply of tools that are available for us. So yeah, Jason, real quick. So cool. You want to sell your business, scale the business, sell the business in 5 years. What does that give you in turn? So you're able to sell it. You've
Oh
got
yeah,
some more money in your
there's no
pocket.
selling. There's no selling of the business,
Oh, you're
man.
not selling? Okay.
Oh no, 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 no.
You
And
just want
so
to sell it?
exitable is going to give me the freedom to, it means that I don't have to be, a slave to my job. More is that the job is still
Got it.
there, the company is still there, but then I can focus on, other passions, whether it's other professional opportunities, whether it's other, personal things. I love to ski and golf.
Nice.
So,
Okay. Got
the
it.
ability to bring that in, but to give me the flexibility to, and even do something that I haven't discovered yet.
Mm.
But and if I'm always, I worked in retail management for 10 years, and I realized that every promotion that I get, they're going to pay me more money to spend less time with my family.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, that's where, like, I want to build this where in 5 years I can spend as much time with my family as I want. I can spend as much time, I control my time versus my time control me.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Perfect. Thank you. Freedom, flexibility, liberty. Yeah. Got it. And I imagine most of us as business owners have some aspect of that in mind, which is why we got started with it in the first place. All right. So, what is your vision? And I talked about this a little bit earlier, and I just want you guys to think about this. Some of these slides, and I just have a few more left. You can write down what you see on the slides. You can certainly request me to send you the slides if you like when I'm done. What I want you to think about, what is my vision? And this might be a little homework assignment for you, because if I don't have one, once again, going to allow somebody else to create one for me. And that doesn't mean you're doing it consciously. It's oftentimes subconscious. And we find ourselves years later or months later going, what am I doing? I'm doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Definition of insanity. So why do I need a vision? A vision is like your rocket fuel. So for like Jason, his getting up every day is like, I'm going to create that freedom, that flexibility, so I have time with my family. That's probably something that hits the nail on the head. That person that comes in that says, I want to lose 15 pounds. Well, what's the reason you want to lose 15 pounds? I don't have much energy. I don't get to have much time when I go home with my daughter. She wants to play with me, and I don't have anything left to give. It's what is that real reason? What's that problem you have that you don't want? But in reality, what is it that you do want? And your vision doesn't have to be crystal clear right away. You just need to know, which direction am I headed in? I like to use this analogy. It's sort of like saying my vision is in the state of Alaska, and I'm in Denver, Colorado. And a goal is a checkpoint that gets me closer to that vision, or gets me closer to Alaska. So I could go north on I-25 to Cheyenne. I could go I-70 west to Grand Junction. Either way, it's taking me in the direction of my vision. And as I get closer to Alaska, I'll know where in Alaska that vision is. As I get closer to my vision, it becomes more and more clear. But we don't get it until we start taking action towards our vision. And so your goals are benchmarks and checkpoints that get you closer to your vision. If you don't have a vision and you make it all about your goals, my experience is typically they can be very empty. If anybody know anybody like this, who, let's say they had a large financial goal, they knocked it out of the park, and all of a sudden it felt very empty for them. They're like, well, what's next? Because they made it all about this money thing, or all about this external thing. So they're checkpoints that lead us closer to our vision. I'd like to include this one here. Leadership is the art of getting someone else to do something you want done because they want to do it. We call this enrollment. So it's a little bit different than sales. And I want you to look at this in regard to yourself as well. Where do I need to get clear and enrolled with myself and my goals so that I can do the same if I have a team, or if I have other people that are, well, even my clients, so they're clear on where I'm going and where I'm taking them. Effective leadership is influence, clarity of vision, consistency, commitment, being a team player. Leadership begins with leading yourself. And that's why I wanted to throw this in some of the leadership slides here. To be an effective leader, we must first become clear with where we're going. You guys know anybody that's like, man, you know what? I think you'd be a great leader and you'd probably be really powerful, but I wouldn't follow you because I don't think you know where you're going. I know a few people like that. They're really dynamic, really powerful, but they don't have a clue where they're going. So I'm going, no, I'm not going to waste my time with that right now. So it's important to know who we are, continue to study ourselves, and find what is it that we want. What's our clarity of purpose, our clarity of vision. Without consistency and commitment to ourselves, we don't get to our vision. We don't get to our goals. All right. So how do I get there? Setting a goal. The why, how do I measure it? Writing out the goal. So how to set a goal effectively, in essence, starts with the why. So if it's, for instance, like a fitness goal, my goal is I want to have more energy, more confidence, let's say a number 10 relationship with myself. And in order to do that, I will be a size 6 by February 28th, 2021. So what I did there is I captured a measurable, I captured the why, and I captured the when. And I made it challenging enough for me, depending on where I started from, that I know I'm going to get to look at some things that, how do I get there next? Make sure you are clear. So too often I hear goals that start out with, once again, I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to make an extra $10,000 the first quarter of 2021. I want to have more freedom. So a goal still needs to be very specific so that we know where we're going. What direction am I going in? So that starts with creating a goal. What's the pathway? So that's where you figure out what is the tool, or what are the tools I'm going to use that are going to get me to that goal. Am I going to be doing this workout program? Am I going to hire a personal trainer? Once again, the change starts with us. The tools are part of the support that we seek. What's the agency? What's pulling us forward? What is it that attracts me to this goal? What is it that's going to encourage me to do things when I really don't feel like it? Get accountability, guys. This one has to happen. If any of you guys are lone rangers or lone wolves out there, or you tend towards that, there's no such thing, and I know we hear it all the time in our lives, there's no such thing as a self-made person, a self-made man, self-made woman. Everybody's had mentorship, they've had coaching, they've had leadership that has helped them get to where they are today. It might be family, but either way, there's always support and there's always accountability. Who are you going to tell about your goal right after you set your goal? So you're like, oh gosh, it's real now. I just set it. So now I know that they're going to be asking me about my goal. How are you doing with that weight loss? How are you doing with that job? How are you doing on your sales numbers? And then take action now. Guys, I can't stress this one enough. Momentum. I had a mentor once tell me, in part of my language, he said, momentum is a jealous bitch. It goes towards wherever you give attention to. So momentum is going to give you back something as long as you give it attention, as long as you're putting in that daily action. Like you talked about, Jason, What steps are you putting in on a daily basis that's getting you closer and closer and closer to that goal? Momentum is one of the hardest things to get back once we've lost it too. Anybody that started and stopped that workout program knows what I'm talking about, how tough it is to get back into it once you've stopped doing it. All right, so here's how to set a goal effectively. And again, feel free to write this down, or I can send you the slides or both. So you first want to start with your why, because that's really what's motivating you to get your goal in the first place. That's really what the goal is to begin with. So a business one, like I said, might be I want to create more freedom, and liberty in my life. I have earned an extra, all right, let's say I've brought in 10 new clients or more in the month of January 2021 in order to create more freedom and flexibility in my life. I am enjoying more time with my family now that I have this flexibility, and I am taking them to Aruba. Let's just say that's let's say travel is important to you. Personal one, same kind of thing with weight. Like I said, with weight loss or getting stronger. I would say don't so much focus on losing things here, guys. If it's weight loss you're seeking, seek a different clothing size, or seek, some people will say weight release, like I'm letting weight go. Your subconscious here is loss, and it's not very motivating and moving us forward. I know that may sound weird. However, it works. It really does work. So what is moving you forward always with your goals? It's kind of like having a debt goal. You can have a debt goal to get out of debt, but along with that, have something that's helping you produce more revenue or more profit at the same time. Write down when you will attain it. So what's the time frame? And then realizing your why. So when will you attain this? Write down the time frame. So when you will attain or realize your why might be a year goal from now, and the time frame might be exactly November 17th, 2021. Write down how you will measure your goal. So, for example, I have the freedom to hire 2 new employees and give myself and my family more time, as my business has generated or had generated $15,000 in January 2021. That's a very clear measurement. Okay, so I know that I'm creating freedom for myself and my business, but I'm hired new employees because I've also generated this much money. So now I can hire these 2 employees to help create more freedom for me. So again, once again, I can work on my business a little bit more than be stuck in it. Next, write down 3 to 5 different ways or solutions to accomplishing this goal. Why do I say this? Because it immediately gets you looking towards support and solutions right off the bat. And the reason you do this right when you're writing your goal, guys, is because we're usually in a good creative mindset. We're in a positive mindset. We might be even getting excited about our goal. You're probably in more of a solution mindset right then and there. And then you can always come back to those available solutions when you feel stuck, or when you feel like you're having a hard day or you're challenged. Now you have the solutions available for you that you may not be thinking of right then and there. So it's a great, great way to have a resource available for you when you're feeling stuck. Right. Excuse me. Goodness. What are your 2 action steps you will take in the next 48 hours towards your goal? This is part of that taking action right away. So 2 simple action steps you will take in the next 48 hours towards that goal. Important to have this one because that makes the goal even more real. What are the 2 action steps you will take in the next 48 hours towards your goal? And then tell 3 or more people outside of this presentation about your goal. Again, make it real, gives you a larger and expands your support system. Gives you a larger accountability source. All right. This is what you can do next. So in setting your goal, you can change the culture, change your culture. Having a clear vision will help you get to change that culture and change your leadership of yourself. Use your support and your mentors. Don't be a lone wolf. You guys already have this group, which is fantastic. So who can you use on a daily or multiple days a week, let's say? Who can you use that can help you get to that goal and support you? Learn from failure and success. I talked about that earlier. It's not just what did I do wrong, it's what's working. Leverage what works. That's also part of the 80-20 rule. Most business owners throw a whole bunch of stuff up on the wall and see what sticks. 80-20 rule is typically 20% of what I do on a day-to-day basis gives me 80% of my results. So if you're looking at what is working more often, then you can lean into what's giving me 80% of my results, do that more often, and create even more effective results and more success. Be with the moment each day. This is something I'm still learning. It's easy to get caught up in what do I have to do tomorrow? What do I have to do next week? To truly enjoy the process and be effective with clients and be effective with employees or coworkers, being with the moment allows us to really be effective as well. Endless guidance. Who can assist you? Who can support you in getting to that goal? Who do you know that maybe they've been there, done that, or at least can ask the right questions to bring that out of you? And I'm just going to close up with this, guys, and then open up to Q&A. I haven't even looked at chat yet. I'm offering a discovery call for you guys. This is complimentary. And if you're interested, you can send it to me in chat. I'll put my contact info in. Also, Erica has it. It's a 30 to 45 minute call on where you feel like you're held back. If you feel stuck in any way, we get a chance to dig into learning some tools to implement into your business immediately and get unstuck. See what your blind spots are. What's going on with your language and your thoughts? Are they keeping you stuck or are they moving you forward? You know, would you be a good employee of yourself with what you tell yourself and what your actions are? Discover your vision. If you're not clear on it, you're not sure about that, we definitely can work on that on the call as well. This is a benefit and a thank you. It gives me the opportunity to reach out and help other business owners too, so that I get to give back as well. Here's my Calendly link. Feel free to write that down if you like. I can include that with, or have Erica send that out to you guys as well. And I'm going to go ahead and stop my share. All right. Now